Hello and welcome to Awaken, a space where truth is not only allowed, it is honored. My name is Zainab Hamid, and I created this podcast to bring voice to the parts of us that have long been silenced. The parts that question, feel deeply, and desire something more meaningful from life. Awaken is not just about conversations. It's about transformation. It's about peeling back the layers of who we thought we had to be so that we can remember who we really are. This is a space for the seekers, the empaths, the ones who have carried pain and turned it into wisdom. This is for those who are ready to stop running from themselves and instead begin this sacred journey of coming home to who they've always been. Here, we do not shy away from the raw, the real, or the rare. We lean into it. We explore the intersections of healing, spirituality, self-awareness, and the lessons that life so often whispers to us. If only we would listen. Each episode is an invitation to pause, reflect, and awaken something new within yourself. I believe that healing is not a destination. It is a process, a practice, a way of being. It's about learning to see the beauty in the breakdowns, the power in the pauses, and the wisdom in the wounds. It's about realizing that even in the darkest moments, light is present, waiting for us to notice. Through heartfelt stories, honest reflections, and conversations that reach beyond the surface, Awaken will guide you into a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. My hope is that you listen, you feel seen, you feel understood, and you feel reminded that you are never alone on this journey. This is not about perfection, it is about presence. Not about answers, but about asking better questions. And not about doing more, but about finally allowing yourself to be. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's walk this path together. This is Awaken, where the journey inward becomes the bridge to everything you've been searching for outward. Welcome to this beautiful night, this beautiful podcast. And hopefully, the beginning of something. Well, I'm kind of in the middle of it, so we'll see. But I have so much visions for this podcast and for myself and for my future. And I wouldn't have any of those visions if it wasn't for the hardship that I went through. And that was a big realization for me. That all of my endeavors, all of the endurance that I have to this day, every single thing that I've been through led me to the passion and the purpose that I was meant to create for me and for whoever's going to be involved. And to say that I'm grateful for my hardship is an understatement because it shaped me, it molded me. It was literally like, somebody chipping away at the pieces of you, and I was chipping away at the pieces of me. And of course, that's going to be painful. Of course, that's going to be hard. There's a reason why it says the word hardship starts with hard, because it's not easy. It's hard. It's brutal. It's a battle. It's a battle between, I don't want to be in this world anymore, and it's not my time to go because God hasn't taken me yet. It's a battle between those two. It's a battle between feeling alive and feeling depressed. It's a battle between feeling purpose and feeling incapable. It's a battle between being who you're meant to be, but falling for the projections of other people. It's about not being yourself to please somebody else. It's about people pleasing. It's about healing your people pleasing and retiring your people pleasing. It's the journey. It's the path. It's the everyday choice. And the journey is meant for us. And the only thing that God ever promised us was death. And if you think of it that way, if you feel that in your heart, and you have a great connection with God, you will feel the gratitude that comes with that. The gratitude that comes with, okay, the only promise that I have is death. And so every single day that I have on this earth is a blessing. And we have to make the best out of it, right? Some of us have harder lives than others. Some of us have to claw our way to the top. And some of us is just given to us. And each path was created for the person that it was created for. And that's what was written for that person. And so to be grateful for the path, like I feel like for me, my hardship granted me a privilege of wisdom, a privilege of being able to learn from my experiences and being able to create a genius and expert, create a genius in myself and in my experiences and gaining and understanding. And that's what pushed me towards reading more. That's what pushed me towards understanding my emotions more. That's what pushed me towards my purpose more. I was going in a completely different road. If you heard my last episodes, my road was completely different. I was opening a daycare. I had no idea what a coach was. I had no desire to create a podcast. I had no desire to be a coach. I had no desire to do social media. But my hardship, whatever I went through in the last year, was so my back was against the rings. I said this today on my TikTok, and literally back was against the ring. Now, how are you going to move forward? Are you going to stay there, or are you going to catapult your way out? Are you going to literally make your way out, claw your way out to the other side? Now you have so much when you're healing and when you're understanding your hardship and why you went through those things, you then understand where you need to do the work. And when you're able to put your ego to the side and say, I'm not doing my best in this area in my life, what can I do to make it better? And you stay disciplined. Now, staying disciplined is the hardest part, is being able to, think positively and not negatively, right? Because the negative part of it is like, okay, and I tend to have those negative thoughts too, like everybody else. And it's like, I had to learn how to get myself out of that funk that people might say it's called, or like that kind of, that within itself is a huge hardship, to get your mind out of the negativity, to get your mind trained to a point where you see the beauty in things and you don't see the lack, right? And like I said before, that part of me didn't have boundaries when I saw the beauty in things, and it didn't have like a cutoff. So I only saw the beauty in things, and I kept looking at people's potential rather than looking at what I was seeing right in front of me. And that got me into a lot of hardship, to say the least. And learned experiences, and I learned about boundaries, and I learned about, what love really means. And that's a question I left you all with yesterday's passionate episode. What does love really mean? Right? We hear so many definitions. We have so many different videos and TikToks and reels and stories and all these things of love and what it means to a man and what it means to a woman and what it means to a relationship and what it means to a marriage, what it means to a girlfriend or boyfriend, or what it means to any divine connection. And I really just came to a conclusion of just looking at people and looking, like today, I went and had lunch by myself today. And when I came out and I was putting my stuff out, my garbage in the garbage, and I walked out and I seen this old man and this old woman sitting, and they shared a hamburger together, and they were eating like fries and stuff. And I was just like looking, I'm like, that's what love is. Like spending your whole life with somebody, you raise your kids and all the stuff, and then they go away and they have their own lives, and then you have each other, right? And that's the whole thing. Is that's why I say you're not marrying somebody because you are marrying somebody because they're attractive. You have to be attracted to them, you have to admire them, you have to be able to look up to them. And but at the same time, what you're really marrying is somebody's character. You're marrying somebody's forever. Like, you're not supposed to marry for just temporary. No, you're marrying somebody because you see forever with them. You see that lunch date where you're sharing a hamburger and eating fries together. And I just felt like, oh my God, like it was just so cute. It was so cute. And it just made me feel like that's what love is. It really is. It's so free. It's just free. It's not, oh, you have to do this for me, I have to do that for you. As long as intentions are disclosed, I think love is supposed to be free. You're supposed to feel free, you're supposed to feel easy, it's supposed to feel natural, not forced, right? And so, yeah. So that's the real definition of love. The real definition of love is, do I feel safe with this person? And do I envision sitting and having lunch with them when we're 70 years old, sharing a hamburger and eating fries? It was so cute, you guys. Oh my God. They were so cute. But it's just, and then I just walked out by myself, sitting by myself, like a quarter of their age, and sitting by myself. And I was like, I didn't feel bad for myself. I looked at them and I was like, my God, inshallah, which means hopefully. So, yeah. Now, do you envision, with that being said, do you envision, if you don't envision something so simple like that with your 70-year-old spouse, what's the point of continuing? What's the point of being in a relationship then? That's why it's like, I'm never going to waste my love and my attention and my energy into someone that's not mine. Mine with every sense of the word, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I will never focus on someone who's not mine. And I won't waste my love on somebody who's not mine. And so it's kind of like a bubble that I'm just saving to have for the right person. And it might be forever where I don't find somebody. or it might be next month, or it might be who knows. And it's not like something I'm waiting for, it's just something that I'm like, okay, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Whoever's mine is not going to leave. It's not is whatever's mine. We have a saying in our culture where whatever's meant for you will always find you. And so that's why, like, when you have really high trust in God, which I do, it's like I trust that when that person is meant to come into my life, that they will. And that's the whole thing. I'm perfectly fine without that person. I mean, that sounded a little wrong, but I'm everything to myself in this moment. Do I have some areas in my life I'd like to um, enhance and be more accomplished? Absolutely. But my future is going to be very bright because I won't stop until it is. It's just that simple. I won't stop until it is. And for a woman like me, I need somebody who is, and I'm not talking about me, I'm just talking about any woman that's like me, that's empowered, that has her own, that's very confident, that's very secure, needs a man who is willing to let her shine because I need to shine freely in my freedom. Shining does not consist of any kind of shrinking. And I've encountered many people who wanted me to shrink, to be less than, so they can feel more than. Does that make sense? And that's something I will never do. Ever. Like, that's not something that I'm going to compromise on. Like, there's certain things that you don't compromise on, and I won't compromise my future and the things that I'm working on, because that means a lot to me. And that's why love is free, because if you find somebody that loves you, they'll be like, okay, how could I help? What can I do? Just like I would for them. And that's my whole thing. I was always that person for someone else, but I never had that person for me. And I think a lot of women can relate to this. A lot of even men can relate to this, where you're always of service to somebody else and you're so used to being of service, it's just natural, and that's why when I say I'm not going to give love to anything that's not mine, because when I do give love to that person that is mine, it's going to be for free. Just think of freedom. Think of what's free. Think of how free a butterfly is in the sky, for free. Just showing its beauty and showing all of the things, whatever. Think of anything that's for free. You just feel warm. You feel ease. You feel all of those things, and that's what love is, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Freedom. And I won't waste it on anyone who's not mine. So. And listen, every woman and man needs to be this way. Don't waste your love. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your energy on something that's not yours. That's not 150% for you, with you, riding with you, down to like the very depth of whatever you guys are going through. Other than I know there's a lot of things that are unacceptable in relationships, like cheating and things like that. I will never forgive somebody that cheated on me. I don't care what we have together. I don't care if we had billions of dollars together. I will leave. There's no way. because then the trust is broken, right? How many people have been cheated on in the past? And I don't think there's, depending on the situation and how serious they are to resolving the problem, but for me personally, I will never be able to forgive it. Trust is very important to me, and once that's broken, I won't look at that person the same. I won't admire them anymore. And to admire somebody, I can't be married to somebody I don't admire. I can't be in a relationship with somebody I don't admire. You know what I mean? To admire your spouse is to believe in them, even when they don't believe in themselves. Like, to admire your spouse is to look at them and say, I can go to them with any problem and they will have a solution for me. And if they don't have the solution, they will find a solution and help me find a solution. Admiration is a must in a relationship. In a relationship, it has to be there. If it's not there, then there's no respect, right? How could you respect something you don't admire? I mean, I don't think you can, really, if you think about it. Admiration is very important in a relationship. And when trust is broken, there's no more admiration. Like I said before, like, my partner has to be someone who's smarter than me so I can learn from them in certain areas, right? Or I might be smarter than them in certain areas, and that's what makes an empire. That's what makes a beautiful union. Because you're letting your egos on the side, and he's coming to you or she's coming to you with problems, and you're solving them together. Teamwork makes the dream work. I do this with my kids all the time. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's the whole thing, guys. Love is free. It is so free. And even though I've only ever been burnt by love, like badly, I will still give it for free. And some might say that's very naive, or that's very stupid, or that's whatever. Or she didn't learn her lesson, or she didn't learn this. But I didn't say I was just gonna give it to anyone. I said I was gonna give it to that person. And that's it. Forever and ever and ever. And that's really that can be scary. Especially when, like, it's a scary thought to give your love for free and then feel like, oh my God, what if this person hurts me? And then I'm back at square one. And that's the whole point about healing too. Is like, even if that person was to hurt you, you have the roadmap to how to get out of it again, because you healed from it before. That's what learning from your mistakes does. You go down a different route. You see red flags that you don't like, and you move away from it. If something doesn't feel right, you don't stop. You don't continue it because you feel bad. No, you say, okay, this doesn't feel right. I'm not for this. So yeah. So healing is trusting yourself again. Healing is believing in who you are again, believing in the decisions that you make, believing in all of those things. So, and when you do heal, on the other side, if you heal the right way, you would never hurt anyone the way that you've been hurt. So all these people that say they're healed but then go around hurting other people, they're not healed. Because if you are healed, your love is for free. You walk around giving love. You walk around saying good morning, hello, how was your day? You leave your mark everywhere you go when you're healed. Because you're not expecting love back. You're not expecting a smile back from a stranger. You're not expecting a good morning back from a stranger. No, you're just doing it because that's who you are. And it gives you joy to do things like that. And that's the way that I feel. I do that all day, every day, no matter what mood I'm in, no matter what I'm going through. That's something, a part of my day that makes me happy, just smiling at a stranger. Or you never know who you're smiling at and what they're going through. That's the whole thing too. That's the whole thing too. I have a story. Yesterday, you know, I was trying to get my son into a football team, and I was having a little bit of trouble because their tryouts and stuff were over. And I was talking to the coach, and he was telling me he doesn't have space and XYZ. I told him my son is really good. He's been playing football, whatever. And, negotiation and trying to pitch something. And so I left him. I gave him my number and everything. I was like, please just let me know what happens. And I was walking out, and then I saw a woman. I didn't recognize her. And she looked at me. She's like, oh my God, Zainab. I was like, hi, how are you? And stuff. I smiled, and she's like, do you remember me? I was like, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And she goes, I'm XYZ, literally like 10 years ago. Like, I had to remember who her son was. Her son was friends with my son like 10 years ago. Literally when my son was like 4 or 5. Like 8 years ago, something like this. And then, I was telling her my problem, and I was like, I'm trying to get him on the football team, and they're giving me a hard time, and so on and so forth. And, like an hour passed, I went home. She texted me and found me on Facebook, and she goes, I talked to the coach, and he said he can put him on the team, but he has to come to practice on this day and whatever. And I was so happy. And I'm like, this is what it means to really leave your mark on people's lives, where people remember you, and then out of nowhere, they're there to help you in a problem. And they're there to help you solve a problem. This is what it means to show kindness to people that remember you from 8 years ago. And have no problem trying to help you find a solution to a problem. That whole analogy of the whole purpose of me saying that story was to show that, honestly, you never know who you're smiling at. You never know who you're saying hello to. You never know who you're saying good morning to. And it's so important to just, yeah, you're having a bad day, but don't hate the world because of it. Put your energy in a way, switch your energy in a way like, okay, yeah, I have a problem right now. I'm going through a rough time. Right now I'm going through this. Right now I'm going through that. And I know it's easier said than done. I have my days where I don't feel like saying hello, but I still do, just because it makes me happy. And I think just finding happiness in little things like that will make you feel so much more better in life. Like, I can't imagine looking at anything, looking at like a butterfly, or looking at a baby laughing, or looking at something so innocent and not being happy to see it. Or just walking in nature, something for free, something that's so natural, that literally God made nature for us, for our mental health. You can't tell me walking in nature and listening to the wind and listening to birds chirping and listening to the leaves and all this stuff is not going to make you happier. If it doesn't make you happier, then nature is healing within itself, all of it. something for free, just like love. It's free. Like God gave us that for free. Like you look at this world and you be like, my God, if it's this beautiful here, can you imagine what it's like in heaven? How could that not give you motivation to be the best version of you? To be the best version of you for random people too. People, strangers. That's the way I like to live my life. That's my purpose. My purpose is not to live for this world, really, in these materials and all this stuff. Are they nice to have? Absolutely. They're nice to have if you. And do I want to work hard to get those things? Yeah, because I want to live a comfortable life, right? But at the same time, I don't need them. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So today's episode is very chill because we're talking about love and we're talking about nature and we're talking about all the natural things in life. We complicate so many things. Oh my God. We complicate so many things when it's really just an easy definition, an easy formula. Very easy. But we have to add this and subtract that and do this and do that and do that. Like, no. You know? Like if you're looking for a spouse, okay, what are my core values? This is the first question you have to ask. What are the values that I care about the most? That I have and I want to see in my spouse, right? Because those values are what's going to attract you for the rest of your life with this person. Their character. Do they say what they're gonna do they do what they say they're gonna do? Especially for a man. Period. Because women can be indecisive. We have our hormones going up and down every month and all this stuff. So we can be a little indecisive. But a man has to say or has to do what he said he's going to do. Has to. And if they don't, ew. Sorry. That's all I can think about is ew. That's what that means. That's what... It's really that simple. Like there has to be certain things that you like, and this is where it comes in to a point. This is where what you knowing yourself to a certain degree comes in. Any woman that knows herself is not going to settle for anything less than what she wants. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. If a woman knows herself to a high degree and is very confident in who she is as a person, she won't settle for anything less than she deserves and what her worth is. So, and it's okay for us women to say what we want. And it's okay for men to say what they want and what they don't like and what they do like. This is what I was talking about yesterday. Like so many people get canceled for saying what they believe in. Let them say what they believe in. You either agree with it or you don't. Who cares? But that's what they care about. They can say whatever they want to say. That's my whole thing. It's like, of course, to a certain degree, they can't say, I want to do this to this person or hurt anybody or defame anybody or anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Defamation of character, all these things, right? Nobody should have the power to do something like that, right? But I'm talking about beliefs. Like, I want my wife to be like this, or I want my husband to be like this. That doesn't mean that everything that's outside of what they want is a bad, but that's what that person wants. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I think we're so judgmental of everyone outside that we forget that we're supposed to learn from each other. I bet there's so many people out there I could learn from where I won't make the same mistakes that they made just because I respect and admire them so much. Where if they tell me they did something this way, I would do it that way because I admire them. I have so many mentors, they don't even know who the hell I am. But I just watch them, I study them, I see what they're doing. I try to imitate them in my kind of way, but still stay true to me. Does that make sense? You know? You just take little bits and pieces from each person and you just collide it into what you are, and boom, you become the rose. Oh my God, that was so. But yeah. I want to tell you guys what the rose means again, for anyone who's new listening. So my logo has a rose on it, and the rose is something extremely important to me and who I am. Because in the beginning, the definition of a rose was the softness, but yet the ruthlessness of it, right? And the scent and the strength of it can grow anywhere. It can grow forever. Like it could flourish and die and then come back and every year, every season. And it's just like the rose is depending on how you hold it, you either get its softness or you get its ruthlessness or you get its thorns. You get the petals or you get the thorns, depending on how you hold it. And that's the analogy behind my logo. It's like, depending on how you hold me, right? Or any rose, right? Because anybody can be a rose. And like my rose tribe, I'm trying to build my rose tribe people, but it's just, I don't know where they at, but they coming. Inshallah. Inshallah means hopefully. And so the rose altogether means, depending on how you hold it, you either get its softness or its thorns. So be careful how you hold people. Be careful how you hold people, because nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you an explanation. Nobody owes you a break. Nobody owes you anything whatsoever. You owe it to yourself. And you don't owe anyone anything in return as well. You owe it to yourself. It's just that simple. So thank you all for coming in. I will see you and hear from you tomorrow. Have a great day. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.